Hello, beautiful people. It's Bonnie Gillespie coming at you on Tuesday, the 10th of September at just past noon Pacific. Gorgeous day here at the beach. A little police activity going on right now, so I'm not quite sure what's happening over here in Mayberry. But if you hear lots of noise going on out there, that's been my day. Not quite sure what's happening. Let's see. I'm getting an error message from this little interface, but Patricia is saying, hello, beautiful Bonnie. Hi, Patricia. How are you, gorgeous? I'm so glad to see you here. Thank you so much for joining in our talk about numerology. So this is one of the woo-woo ones. Y'all know I'm going live every week on the amazing Tuesday at noon schedule through the end of October. And so this is like the Bonnie Show time. So thank you so much for showing up and joining me in this fun ride. And just know that today is a woo-woo day. We're going to be talking numerology. I'm pushing through to Periscope over at Twitter. I'm at YouTube. Of course, always over at Facebook Live, where the comments remain open for the replay. So if you're watching in replay at Facebook, just hit hashtag replay so that I can come back around and answer any questions that you have from that version of the watching. And if you're watching anywhere else in replay, just know that comments remain open at the Facebook version so that we can engage with you there long after the broadcast. Hello from YouTube, says Aaron. Fabulous. So no comment yet from Periscope or Twitter, but that tends to be the place that fewest people are watching live, despite the fact that that's where I have the most followers. So I don't know that I just don't get a lot of notifications. Don't know. It doesn't matter. We're pushing through to all the places because that's what you do. We're going to be talking woo. We're going to be talking numerology. Did you do your homework? Thank you for joining me, beautiful people. Did you do the homework that was in the Bond Blast? I sent out an email. The Bond Blast goes out every week. If you're not signed up to receive the Bond Blast, which is usually a bunch of showbiz, mindset, and business goodness that can be rectified by just going over here to BonnieGillespie.com. Okay, hello, Raquel, reporting in from Periscope. Woohoo! Go here to get yourself signed up for the Bond Blast so that you can welcome me into your inbox weekly with all sorts of motivation and inspiration and really good ideas for how to maybe get some more joy out of your life, because who doesn't want that? Hello, my awesome cousin / big sis, Joni. Good. Elizabeth, I know you're a 5, girl. You were saying that last time. I was like, she is so ready. She's like, I'm a 5. And I'm like, so like a 5. So let's talk how to do this, because before we get into everybody identifying their numbers, I want to make sure that you know how, because if this is new to you, you may be like, I'm still not seeing how everybody's getting down to a single digit. So we're going to use me as an example. And then I'm also going to show you how to do it for the current year, which means I need to get my Sharpie back out. Who knew? A week ago, I wrote this with a Sharpie. I was so fucking ahead of my time with a damn Sharpie on my show, right? Where are my little pieces of paper that'll show you how to, well, I have to use a different kind of piece of paper because this is what I have for, okay. So first we're going to do how to do it. Yes, Katrina, please be safe while you drive and do this with us on the replay when you're back home. So here's how we do your birth number. We're going to do your birth number and we're going to do your current year number. Your birth number is you take the month you were born in, the day you were born in, and the entire year. So not just like I could say I'm born 7/11/70. I left out 1 and 9 if I do that, and you don't want to do that. So you need to include all the numbers, 7111970, add it down to a single digit, and of course when you add all of that together, you actually get 2 digits, a 26, but when you add the 2 and the 6, you get the single digit 8. So my birth number is an 8. We are now also going to do my current year number. So I'm going to take my 7/11/2019. Pardon the, what is this from? What is this from? Trip by Wyndham. Where did I stay? This is New York, I think? May have been Chicago. This may have been Chicago. 7/11/2019, right? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to add them up to a single digit. Okay, got that? So this is how we're doing our current year. So you see, I didn't use my birth year. Birth year goes away. We just use month and day and the current year, because now we're coming up with what it would be for the current year, so we don't add extra years. We just want this year. So I'm going to go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 12, 13, okay, so that's going to be a 21, right? Okay, but that's still not a single digit, so what do we do? 2 plus 1. I am in a 3 year. So I am an 8 by birth, and I am in a 3-year. Got these numbers for yourself? Ready? We're going to go through what they mean. So first off, let's go through your personal year, because this is a whole lot easier to understand using my mom's methods. My mom, Charles C. Gillespie, world famous astrologer, way ahead of her time. And of course, her baby daughter, not at all interested, amused, like whatever, semi-interested. Like, okay, great. I grew up in a New Age household. I rolled my eyes about everything. Whatever it was that my mom would have been doing, I would have been rolling my eyes about it. So yeah, I thought it was cool. Yeah, I thought it was helpful. But I was like, whatever. It's just what my mom does for a living. I don't get the big deal. And until I got out into the world and realized, oh shit, this is actually some really powerful stuff. And for me, what I love is the way I can take a look at my calendar and get an idea of how a certain day is going to feel. And I can make decisions about planning my schedule based on the vibe of that day. And this is all stuff that I've had the advantage of having access to my whole life. And I didn't realize what an advantage it was until I started sharing it with my clients. Because what started happening was I had all these amazing actors and other showbiz creatives coming to me for these coaching sessions. And we started doing things like talking about, well, if you're going to meet with your agent this week, let's pick the best day. And I realized I was bringing numerology into it and the moon phases into it. And like, this became more and more a thing that my clients sought me out for, because I was able to provide an edge unlike any that they'd ever had before. And in show business and in all life, really, we're looking for any kind of edge we can get, because it's a lot. It's a lot. And if we can get an edge, let's take it. So now I'm overtly putting out there, I am the astrologer's daughter. Yes, I will do your woo stuff. My team is actually going to share with you in the comments here at Facebook links to a couple of things that you can look at later. Do this episode with me, and then go open them in a separate tab, and then go back and look at them later, because I am offering a monthly membership to go through the numerology, the astrology, the moon phases, the elements of the calendar for the month ahead, with an interactive Zoom session every month. And then also I'm offering actor branding coaching using your astrological information. So super cool, fun stuff. If you're into it, it's there for you. And my team will throw those links in the Facebook comments. So let's talk about our individual year. All right. And then we'll come back around to your birth number. Okay. So the individual years, we run on 9-year cycles. So if you want to take a look at what am I facing this year, the best indicator for how you behave in whatever year you're in is to look back 9 years, because that's when you were last in that same space in the cycle. So for instance, I'm in a 3-year right now. If I take a look at 2011, that's when I was last in a 3-year. So I can go, okay, what does right now have in common with the last time I was in a 3-year, which was 2011. Do I have that right? 2011? No, 2010. Math. 2010, when I was last in a 3-year, 2010. Because I was like, yeah, that didn't sound right. So when you take a look at your current situation, 2019, go back to 2010, which is the last time you were in whatever year that it is that you're in, because we run on 9-year cycles. And then from there, you could take it back to 2001. That was the last time that you were in the same cycle that you're in now. And then from there, go back 9 years. From there, go back 9 years, and as far back as you need to go, because what that's going to do for you is show you how you react in those personal years. Okay, but let's go through all of them. 9-year cycle number 1. It starts to 1, goes to 9. So starting in a 1 year, when you are in a 1 year, who here is in a 1 year right now? Who is in a 1 year right now? Lisa is also an 8 in a 3-year. Oh no, I'm a 3 and an 8 year. You're not telling me that's what you are. Okay, got you. Who's in a 1 year right now? Anybody? Nobody's in a 1 year. Nobody's in a 1 year right now. Okay. Okay, in a 1 year, you are planting seeds. You are starting new things. You have a more masculine energy around you. You have a whole lot more assertiveness and take chargeness. You feel way more motivated about whatever it is that you want to start, because in a 1 year of a 9-year cycle, you are setting the tone, planting the seeds, setting the stage for that 9-year cycle. So the work you do in a 1 year is incredibly important, because those seeds that you plant, those new relationships that come in a 1 year, those projects that you start in a 1 year, you are saying, this is the stuff that I want to take with me for the next 9 years. This is all part of my next 9-year cycle. And so that's new relationships that get started. And in that energy, it is a very masculine, strong-willed, confident kind of energy. In a 2-year, who here's in a 2-year? Let me scroll through the comments and see who's in a 2-year. Meredith is in a 2-year. All right. Meredith is in a 2-year, and looks like that's it. Okay, Meredith, if you're in a 2-year, this is your feminine year. So if 1 is a masculine year, 2 is a feminine year. In your 2-year, the way Charles C. would say it is, you're going to abort or knit booties. That was the way she described the 2-year, because the energy is very emotional, very feminine, very nurturing. But if you start having doubt for the seeds you planted in a 1 year, because in a 2-year, it looks a lot scarier, like, oh my God, what did I commit to? Oh my God, what have I said I'm going to do? Oh my God, who have I said I'm going to be in the world? I'm not ready for this. You can go and pull up those seeds that you planted in a 1 year. And so you have to be really sure in a 2-year that you are doing things that nurture what you had the confidence to plant in a 1 year. Because if in a 2-year you dig everything up and say it's not possible, it's not going to work, it's not going to work, you then have a very different trajectory for the 9 years, because you aborted the thing that you planted in that 1 year. So instead, really good activities for a 2-year are going deep within, really connecting with your emotions, really working on feeling safe around what it is that you decided and declared you wanted to create. So let's use me as an example. 2017. Probably the best year of my life. 2017, planting all sorts of great seeds. I had just become sober in late 2016. So in 2017, I was like planting seeds, changed my body, lost 60 pounds, was like just a beast working out, was growing my business, had crossed a major benchmark financially in my business, had increased the size of my team, had invested in systems in my business. My relationship with Keith was better than ever. And I'm like planting seeds for who we want to be beyond self-management for actors. 2018, my 2-year, spent 3.5 months of 2018 on bed rest. Spent the entire year meeting with specialists and doing deep, deep, deep inner work on this mind-body healing journey. Was hospitalized, medicated, all of it. What a fucking 2-year. I could have very easily said, oh, I was too bold with all the things that I asserted we were going to be in the world. I was too excited in that 1 year. I made too big a statement about what we can be. Or I can go deep within and do some healing and make sure that I feel safe being the fullest me that I know I can be. And that's the route that I took. So you can look at people's lives and go, yep, I see where you're doing exactly the work of that year. 3-year comes after the 2-year. I'm in a 3-year now. Who's with me in a 3-year? Who is with me in a 3-year right now? Nobody. Oh, Denise. Denise, we are in a 3-year. All right, Denise, you and me here in a 3-year. 3-year is when the baby is born. So to continue the metaphor, we plant seeds in a 1 year, we nurture it in a 2-year, and then in a 3-year, it is born. It reveals itself to the world. In a 3-year, there's a ton of creative energy. In a 3-year, there is a ton of celebration. In a 3-year, we see the product of our hard work and our faith. And so in a 3-year, there's a very results-oriented vibe to the 3-year where the material begins to show up as evidence of the faith that we had in the 2-year and the chutzpah that we had in the 1 year. So that 3-year, that baby is born. And so there's a lot of celebration in a 3-year. A lot of creativity. A 3 is a very creative number. So then, 4-year. The way Charles C. would say this is, well, you got that kid, now you got to put it through school, so you got to go to work. 4-year is the year of hard work. Who is in a 4-year right now? Who is in a 4-year right now? Nobody. Nobody's in a 4-year right now. Somebody's in a 4-year. Somebody watching this is in a 4-year. Somebody's in a 4-year right now. I'm going to be in a 4-year in 2020. Denise is going to be with me in a 4-year in 2020. In a 4-year, I'm going to be doing lots of work. You're going to be doing lots of work. 4 is all about work. Hard work. Good news. I love work. I freaking love work. So for people who go, "Ooh, I don't want a year of hard work," I ask you, well, do you really have a bad relationship with hard work? I don't. Baby pictures of me, I am sitting at a little desk that was cut down to be like 6 inches off from the floor, and my little legs are stuck up underneath it, and I'm like typing on the typewriter and talking on the toy phone, and like, I'm running my business. Oh, Douglas, baby, you with me in a 4-year? Hard work, roll up the sleeves. It's great for earth signs. So I promised myself I wasn't going to try to get too deep into the elements or any of the astrological stuff, the signs and the moons and things that are happening, because I really want to save that for my Aligned Advantage membership. But in a 4-year, it is great to do earth activities. So if you've got low earth in your chart like me, it's a wonderful year to start connecting yourself with earth activities, work activities, roll up the sleeves, get out there, do things physical, like actually get stuff moving. It doesn't just have to mean go to my shitty job that's killing my soul, because that does not have to be what work looks like. It just means that for a lot of people. Elizabeth, good. I'm so glad you're loving it. Getting to share my mom's work with y'all, like, I'm surprised at how good it feels to do it. It's scary. Like I said in the Bond Blast, it's scary to do it, but it's also, it's part of how I was raised, so it's also super easy to do. 5-year. Again, Charlesy, you worked your ass off all your 4-year, so in your 5-year, it's time to fucking party. So in your 5-year, you're going to rebel. Who's in a 5-year? You're going to rebel, you're going to party. Lisa Allen is in a 5-year. You are going to make some noise, have some fun, feel a little twitchy, rebellious. Amy's in a 5-year. Are you a little more reckless right now? Are you feeling that party energy come in? The way my mom would map this out is, now you got the kid off to college, so you have empty nest syndrome and you're throwing a party because you worked really hard to get that kid off to school, so it's time to play. Bettina's like, party! Yes, and so, of course, when we do your life path numbers, this will all make sense in a new way. So if you are in a 6-year, which comes after the 5-year, let's continue the metaphor. If you are in a 6-year, you got to make some repairs. You got to clean up, because you threw that big party and you kind of messed up your house. So 6-year is all about getting your house in order. If you are in a 6-year, which Angelica is right now. Hello, Angelica. I'm so glad you're here, sweetheart. If you are in a 6-year right now, it is a very domestic energy. If you are in a 6-year, it's a time when a lot of people get married. It's a time when a lot of people get divorced. It's domestic. It's like either way. It's a time when a lot of people have children. It's a time when people buy a house or renovate or invest in making their home feel great. And again, I swore I wasn't going to do too much of the astrology part of things, but Taurus loves a 6, because a Taurus is all about house and home. And of course, a Cancer, which I am, loves house and home and making things feel comfy. And so a 6 energy can be very comforting, unless you are born a number or a sign that has a lot of fire and that likes to be a little more reckless, because a 6-year can be kind of boring because it's house and home and grown-up shit, and that doesn't necessarily appeal to the artist brain all the time. So again, it depends on what your life number is. But if you are in your 7-year, who is in a 7-year? Let me look through the comments where y'all were all sharing your stuff. Vanita is in a 7-year. Brooke is in a 7-year. Okay, ready? 7-year. Dark night of the soul. Sorry about it. 7-year is hard for most people, because a 7-year is going deep, deep, deep inward. A 7-year is a spiritual year, so it can be fantastic. It can be filled with so much enlightenment. It can be filled with so much self-discovery. But for someone who has a career or a life in which there's a lot of human interaction, a 7-year can be very lonely, because you go deep within in a 7-year. You go into the cocoon and nobody can come in there with you. And so it can be an incredibly isolating year. And especially if you're a very social person or in a business where you have to do a lot of networking, every time you have to come out of the cocoon and connect with the rest of the world, it hurts. It feels like shit, because you are still in the incubation stage of whatever it is you're about to become. And Amanda's like, yeah, my last 7 was rough. Michaela, last year was a 7. It's tough. Like, I don't know people who go, yay, a 7 year. I mean, it's by the end of it, it's yay, because you do learn so much about who you're meant to be in the world and where you're not showing up. But that kind of thing can be really confronting. So just give yourself a lot of patience and a lot of grace for that flying solo feeling. Yeah, Brooke, because even if you are partnered in a 7 year, you're on your own. Like, that partner can still stay in your life, but they can't come with you to the deepest parts of the journey. It's just not possible. Same for them. If they are in a 7 year, like when Keith was in his last 7 year, I was just kind of like, honey, I can just say, I see you and I love you. I'm witnessing your growth. I want to help, but I know that anything I do to try and help is going to be like cutting a caterpillar out of a cocoon to say, no, you're almost a butterfly, come on out. And if you cut them open too soon, they die because they haven't created all the wings that they're going to need to survive as a butterfly. Katrina's like, last year sucked. Yeah, last year sucked for me too, girl. I was in a 2, but at least I knew what it was. So I was like, I mean, for me, that's what the benefit is to all of this, astrology, numerology, the elements, all of it. The benefit for me is it gives me some kind of comfort that, okay, what I'm experiencing is normal. What I'm feeling is something I could have predicted and prepare for, and not protect against, but fortify for. Like, if I know I'm going to have a 7 year, I'm going to go deep within. Let's plan things that, like, don't schedule a tour in a 7 year. Don't schedule out events in a 7 year. Be doing inner work. It's a great time, as Lisa has said over on YouTube, it's a great time to write a book. 7 years is a fantastic time to go into the creative cave, because you're going to be in there anyway, so you might as well make something. Yeah, Kathy, a lot of work. 8 year. Ready? 8 year. You probably can predict this. If the 7 year has you going deep into that cocoon, 8 years what? Emerge the butterfly. Yes, love an 8 year. Of course, I'm born an 8, so I love an 8 year. We're about to get to your birth numbers very soon. Joni says, me. Okay, if you're in an 8 year, hello, butterfly. You're gorgeous. Oh my goodness, look at you. Look at that amazing work that you've done. Erin, my girl, 8 in an 8 year. Butterfly indeed, Michaela. Oh my goodness. Amanda, we'll talk about partners and you being in different years and how to handle that. Remind me if I don't get to that. If you are in an 8 year, girl, you are butterflying it out. Girl, boy, they, whoever you are, you're coming out. That 8 year is all about stretching those wings. For those of us who love being in positions of power, 8 feels great. If you, however, are not born a number that likes a lot of power or attention, an 8 can be confronting because you are getting seen. And if you don't get ready to be seen, it is painful. So part of being in an 8 year is being comfortable with being seen. Now, in the negative, and this was one that Charles really liked playing with, because for every one of these, there's a shadow side. And 8 was her favorite because I often used this, because I was like, I love being an 8. See me, see more of me, see all of me. Like, I could not be more 8. And she's like, let me show you where that can work in the negative. And it's things like confrontation with authority. If you are not working 8 in the positive, you're getting pulled over by every fucking cop that ever lived for nonsense reasons. You are having head-butting experiences with people in positions of authority over you. You are constantly struggling in territory of like legal issues or political issues or anything where there's like a power structure. And so an 8 can be a year of those kinds of entanglements as well. So it really just depends on where you are in your relationship with 8. That's why it looks different for everyone who goes through it. 9 year. We're at the end of our 9 year cycle. Who's in a 9 year right now? Because I see quite a few of you in an 8 year right now, which means next year is going to be your 9 year. So brace yourself. Who's in a 9 year right now? Let me scroll through. Well, let me scroll back enough to see the earlier comments. Amy's in a 9 year. All right, perfect, Amy. Not surprised. Not surprised. All right. Yeah, Katrina, 8's hard for you. Yeah, because it depends on what your resting point is. You know, I'm an 8. I'm great at 8. If you're not an 8, and even if you are an 8, you might not be great at 8. Depends on how your 8 manifests. All right, 9. In your 9 year. This is the death year. And I say that with all the caveats that go with tarot cards or anything else where there's a death card and people go, no! And I'm like, what it means is the end of the cycle. The 9 year cycle is ending. So we planted seeds in the 1 year, nurtured them, saw them come to fruition, worked hard to support them, partied a little bit to celebrate making it this far, then did some repairs in our house, went deep within to figure out who we are outside of this thing that we've created, then had our power really start to emerge because we aligned ourselves with the mission that we started in that 1 year. And then in the 9 year, close it all off. Close it all off. If you have any bad habits, a 9 year is a great time to let them go. See 9 year like a full moon ritual. It is time to release anything that you do not want to bring with you into the next 9 year cycle. I became sober at the end of my last 9 year, October of 2016, because I knew I've not enjoyed my relationship with alcohol now long enough that if I continue being a drinker in my next 9 year cycle, it's not going to get better. It's not going to be fun. I'm not enjoying this anymore. It's not just, oh, I can, crack open a glass, a bottle, whatever, and feel relieved. It's actually become something that I'm not enjoying the relationship with. So I'm going to not take it with me. And I knew that I had to declutter it in a 9 year. 9 year is a perfect time to end relationships, to end jobs, to end living in a certain location. I looked back at my pattern with 9 years, and when I moved to Los Angeles, the time that stuck was a 9 year. Dropped out of grad school, sold everything I owned on eBay except for my car, and moved. But my cat died, moved to LA in a 9 year. At the end of a 9 year, I do a lot of big things at the end of a 9 year because then I know I'm starting fresh for my 1 year. Okay? So in a 9 year, you want to Marie Kondo. You want to Marie Kondo. You want to bless it, thank it, fold it in thirds, and send it on its way. Okay. Questions about the individual years. I'm going to now do your birth number stuff, but I want to make sure if there are any questions about the individual year, that I get those answered. And then we're going to do birth numbers. Cool. I'm not seeing questions come in, so we're going to do birth numbers. Here we go. If the questions are really, really, really lagging behind, then I will catch them later. All right. So your birth number, very similar to what we just did in those your personal year numbers. If you're born a 1, you have a lot of masculine energy. You are very assertive. You're good at starting things, maybe not so good at finishing things. Who's married to a 1? Keith is a 1. He's really good at firing up some really, 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 really great ideas. And then I get to execute them because he's for shit. He can. 1 is great at starting things. 1, if you want to think about it like the astrological chart, the 1 has a lot of that Aries energy, that young, new, excited. I'm a puppy. Everything is so much fun. I can't wait to start it. How about this? What about this? What about this? 1. Okay. The person who is born a 2 is more emotional, more feminine, more in touch with those inner feelings and qualities. So if 1 is more of a thinker, a 2 is more of a feeler. If you were to do the Myers-Briggs, we would probably see a little bit of a skew on those results. And he's not, Michaela. He's not an Aries. Oh, you're married to a 1 who's an Aries. You're married to a 1 who's an Aries. Oh my God, Michaela. You couldn't get away from it if you tried. You could not get away from it if you tried. Married to a 1 who is an Aries. That is all fire, all start, no finish. Girl. Well, that's good. That's why he found you. That's why he found you. You can balance that out because that's definitely a part of what I do with Keith. But yes, if yours, yeah. Oh, if he's an Aries on top of it. All right. So if you're born a 2, that's more emotional balance. That's more feminine energy. That's a lot of nurturing and caretaking. If you are born a 3, that is a very creative worldview. You are more likely to have a creative solution about something than anybody else. You are going to look at something not for the problem that it is, but for the creative way that it can be articulated or solved or manifested. And so you are always looking through the lens of what's the creative way to bring this together. Then there's the 4. If you are born a 4, hate it for you. Hard work. If you are born a 4, you will take something that is not hard and make it hard. The good news about that is once you know that to be true about yourself, you let yourself off the hook for everything feeling hard, because you go, of course it's hard. I make it hard. And then hopefully you can lean into, how can I make it easy? Because your karmic lesson is, how can I make this easier? That's the idea. But if you're born a 4, enjoy your work. You came here to do it. Usually a lot of earth sign elements going on in there. If you are born a 5, you are a rebel. You like to party. You like to play. You probably have some good fire in your chart. You are fun if you are born a 5. Maybe not the most responsible person on the planet. And that's why everybody loves you. Because when we hang out with you, that's like one of my best friends who's a 5, and she's also a ninja client. Whenever I go see her in New York, I'm like, bringing bail money. I mean, I've never had to use it, but who knows if you're hanging out with her. Like, you never know, because it's always a party. All right, if you're born a 6, you are very much into the domestic care. And so this is a little similar to the 3, but that stands to reason. That 6 energy is very domestic, very nurturing, very house and home, very like nurses tend to be 6s, people who are in the caregiving family. I am a career family person. Like, those are 6s, people who really love that sort of thing. Jojo is a 6. Jojo is everybody's mommy. Jojo, what did I call you? Forever. You know the acronym. And my cousin Joni, yes, but the other one, like everybody's mommy, because she will make sure, did you bring a sweater? Do you have all your things? It's like, just, you go to her for any time that you're like, the life's not making sense. Go to your mommy. She's a 6. 7. If someone is born a 7, that person is going to be very introspective, very spiritual. They are on a life path that is meant to be filled with inner wisdom and growth. They are here to learn about how the brain works, a lot of psychology, a lot of like really a little too much interest in how the brain works. And I find it fascinating how my past couple of years have felt so 70 in that nature. And then the 8 is, of course, the leader. If you are born an 8, you don't mind being seen. And if you do mind being seen, that is what this life was meant to teach you. And so let's go to Amanda, who said, I'm a 5 and nothing like that. And Bettina saying, is that the rebel energy? I'm nothing like that. 100%. Yeah, Bettina has it exactly right. A 5 would be like, that's not me, because a 5 is a rebel. And a 5 is also someone who is fun and brings play. And I cannot tell you how many times there are people who are like in that playful place and go, you have to be serious. And so they get conditioned into having to be more serious and pushing away from the play that they're actually born to experience. And so I would ask you to really look at how much of what you were born to do is feeling like, oh yeah, that is actually who I am. And I've kind of pushed that down because of how I've grown up or the community in which I was born. Something to take a look at. But obviously there are so many other factors. It's not just the numerology. It's also the astrology, the signs, the elements behind the signs, and where you are on your path at any given time. So there's a lot more to it, which is part of what we do in the monthly membership. Erin, can you pop the link, if you're still here, in the Facebook chat for the monthly membership? Because for people who want to dig deeper on this and actually look at, well, wait, why am I a 5, but I don't feel like a 5? You could do that. And don't think I forgot you, number 9s. If you were born a 9, you have a feeling of completion. You have a feeling of closure and closing things off. And if you believe in past lives, usually people who are born a 9 have been through enough things that this is time to really call it done on karmic issues that just seem to stay along the path. 9 year, by the way, is also a bringing skeletons out of the closet. Any secret that you are keeping in a 9 year will come out and everyone will know it. So people who are born a 9 are also usually either carrying around a secret that is going to be exposed or are here to expose secrets, depending on how it manifests in their lives. Thank you. The link is in the Facebook version of our comments if you want to join me for our monthly membership. This is brand new. First time we're ever offering it. If you come in now, we're doing September as just kind of a test run of like what, let's go through the September calendar. Let's take a look at it. I've got this. Where is it? get my calendar out with my Post-its on it, because I, of course, make notes to myself about what everything means. But I've got my Aligned Hustle calendar, which you can just get this calendar for $5 if you like. I know how to interpret it. I don't need you. Great. Go get the calendar where I have what the numerology is for each day and when the moons go into which signs and what the void moon schedule is, because that's a really interesting bit of astrology that I don't think my mom spent a lot of time on void moons. If she did, I never heard her talking about it in a way that I remember. But again, I was a kid. I rolled my eyes at a lot of whatever my mom said. So, excuse me. And in that monthly membership, we're going to dive in on why does it feel like this to you and how to use the calendar ahead to plot out important things for your schedule, your life going forward. Because we will open up the October calendar on September 21st and do a group Zoom, and it will be recorded. So if you can't be there, it will be a part of the membership there so that you can have it to watch back. Great, Katrina, come join me. It's going to be so much fun. I mean, it already is. The early members are already in there having lots of fun, just asking questions and moving into all of this. Obsessed with the truth, Anna? Yeah, I think that's you. I think that's you for sure. Dave is a 9, but seems more like a 1. You know what, though, Kathy? I'm not surprised he's a 9. But please know that the numerology doesn't necessarily dictate how somebody is going to behave personality-wise on its own. That's why I use it in conjunction with somebody's sun. And I don't just use sun. You know, of course, Zodiac is all about the sun. And I'm like, the sun is like, I'm a Cancer. I do not come off as a Cancer. I have Libra moon and Libra rising. And when you got two close in aspects like that are the same sign and as bossy an air sign as Libra is, you come off as more that than your sun sign. So just like I wouldn't say let's only use numerology to determine someone's personality, what I would say is let's look at the numerology, let's look at the zodiac, and not just the sun sign, but also the moon and the rising. And I also like to look at the interior planets. So I like to take a look at what Mercury, Mars, and Venus are doing in someone's life as well, because those planets have a lot to do with personality. How do we use this in our relationships? Thank you, Elizabeth. I so appreciate you for bringing us back to that question, because I know someone had in the earlier chat here. Hold up. Having a relationship. Where did it go? Amanda. What if you're in a 6-year and your partner is in a 7? Perfect. All right. So let's use that as an example. You are in a 6-year. That is a domestic year. That is a year when you're going to want to focus on house and home. And that can mean physically your house. That can mean your relationship. That can mean your family. Your partner being in a 7-year, going deep within. It's challenging because you're wanting to do things that might involve everyone, and they're wanting to be left alone to go navel gaze and figure out who they are in the world. So when someone is in a 7-year, I find the best way to support them and love them is to just let them know I see you and I'm here when you need me, but I'm not going to come at you, because the more I come at you, the farther in you're going to go. And that's not helping either of us. So then for you, being in a 6-year, focus on things like, I can put my hair. Focus on things like 6-year activities. Do a repair, clean out a closet, renovate a room, sell your house, redecorate. Do something house and home related that doesn't need your partner to be a part of it. And then that way you can enjoy the energy of the 6 and still do things that are comforting to you as you head into your 7-year without necessarily having to poke at your partner who's in a 7-year. Katrina, what are the difference in your number and your partner's number? I do. My Venus is afflicted in Leo, Lisa. That is the only fire I've got in my entire chart. I have no fire except Venus in Leo. That's it. And that's exactly what my mom would say to me. Like, I would come home from school, bullies, crying, you know, the thing that all kids do. And I go, Mom, bullies, crying, boo-hoo. And she'd say, honey, you know your Venus is afflicted in Leo. And that's what I would get instead of, oh, they're just jealous. It's like, your Venus is afflicted in Leo. And I'm like, Venus afflicted in Leo. And I mean, I've seen it play out my whole life. So it's true. All right. You're welcome, Amanda. Absolutely my pleasure. Katrina is in an 8 and he's in a 1. 8 and 1 go really well together, Katrina, because unless your power struggle is at his 1. So there is the potential for it to go sideways. But 8 and 1 together can make magic happen, because when you're in an 8 year, that is the butterfly is showing her wings, that confidence comes out again. And remember what I said about the 1. Someone in a 1 year is incredibly confident and excited to start new projects, new things. And so if we take his excitement about being in a 1 year and wanting to start new things and let it motivate what it is that you are being seen as in all your power, that combination can actually be incredibly juicy. So in the negative, it's a power struggle, but in the positive, it's actually a really good pacing. Keith and I are in a really good pace. Like, I'm in a 3 year right now, he's in a 9. That is perfect, because he's in a 9 year, he's walking through every room and like he'll pick up something and just go, chuck it. And he'll go, 9 year. He doesn't have to say anything. Because he has too much clutter. My husband has too much clutter. He's a 1. He has too much clutter. He will pick up things right now in his 9 year and just chuck it. And go, 9 year. And I'm like, yes, it feels so good. And on my 3 year, which is the creative expression of this work, the seeds that we planted in my 1 year and that I nurtured in the 2 year. And so as he's clearing clutter to make the way for this amazing stuff that we've built, it feels really well paired. And then next year I'm going to be in my 4 year, which is hard fucking work. And he's going to be in his 1 year, which is we can start big things. And that energy goes so well together. And of course, we've now been together 18 years. So we've had 2 full 9 year cycles to get used to how we are with each other in each of our years. But for everyone, that's the key to this. Map out how it feels to you. If you know that in an 8 year you feel a certain kind of way, don't look to how somebody else feels in an 8 year and go, oh, I'm not feeling it right. You know that for you, you feel a certain kind of way. And you can go back into your life 9 years to see how it has felt each time. And then this allows you to see how that's likely going to manifest the next time it comes around. I'm in an 8, he's in a 2, says Joni. That's tough unless his being in a 2 year doesn't make him doubt himself and instead makes him more nurturing toward you and supportive for your growth. But in general, that can be a little challenging because you're also him coming out of a 1 year where he did feel all the masculine energy, and then 2 year making him doubt some things, and you being in an 8 year going, come on, let's do it. Let's do all the things that your 1 year said you wanted to do. That can be a little challenging. Amy says over at YouTube, I'm a 7 and a 5 year. My hubby's a 5 and an 8 year. Let's look at just the year you're in. Amy's in a 5 and hubby's in an 8. So Amy, you're playing, you have a little more like sparkle in your eye than usual, but being born a 7, it's already pretty tempered. But in a 5 year for you, it's like you want to be a little more social. You want to be a little more party energy than usual. But you don't ever do like the raging, I need my passport and bail money kind of friend like that I was talking about earlier, because you were born a 7. So that's already a little conservative energetically. And then your husband is a 5 in an 8 year. So he's feeling a lot of power right now. And because he's born a 5 and you're in a 5 year, that actually connects pretty beautifully. So have fun. That's your assignment for the year. And his is show your personal power. So hopefully he's happy showing off his personal power and you're having fun with what's happening with that. But that's actually a really good pacing together. Kathy is a 6 in a relationship with a 9. Okay, that works. That actually works really well. What individual years are y'all in? Aaron is an 8 in relationship with a 6. Okay, so Aaron, he wants to play house and stay home and build the family, and you want to go out and be all the things that you want to be beyond that. And family is just a part of things, and for him it is everything. And house and home is where he feels safe and out and at your highest possible version of self-expression is how you feel your best. So how do we marry those two things? How do we make sure that both feel safe. Amy says, oh my God, I woke up 2 days ago wanting to purge everything. Yep. Hashtag 9-year. Nothing safe. In a 9-year, nothing safe. Like you'll burn your old yearbooks and things that you swore you would never get rid of. Yep. Pujadas, mine is he's in a 2 and I'm in a 3. Okay, if he's in a 2 and you're in a 3, that pacing one right after the other is nice because he can look to what you went through last year and see that that's where he is, and he can look toward where you are and know that that's where he's headed coming up behind you. So it's kind of like you're blazing the trail each year because of that, but because the years are so different from one another, it can be challenging at a couple of points. If he's in a 2 and you're in a 3, you're feeling ready for the creative expression of the stuff you invested in emotionally last year, and he's still doing emotional investment work. Yeah. Relationships 6 and 7. Angelica, birth numbers or the current years you're in? Kathy says, I'm in an 8 and he's in a 2. Yep. You got to comfort him. You got to make him feel safe, Kathy. You got to make him feel safe. My boyfriend's a 2 and this is in a 2, and this is the most supportive I've ever seen him. I'm in a 2-year and doubting the fuck out of everything right now. Husband's in a 9-year. Okay, Selena, enjoy that your husband is in a 9-year. Help him clean out closets and get rid of shit and clear clutter, because that will help you with the doubt you're feeling. And just know when you're feeling that doubt, it's not me. It's the year I'm in. Because it's not asking you to question everything that you decided to move forward starting last year. It's just asking you to get emotionally connected with it. And so you saw me on my 2-year last year, girl. You saw it. You saw how deeply emotionally connected I had to get to my shit because I made some really bold proclamations in my 1 year. So you did too. And now in a 2-year, you got to go and make it feel safe. So as he's getting rid of things, join him on that and start reminding yourself that the signs of your 3-year will start showing up as we get into these latter months of 2019. You'll start feeling the 2020 energy start to creep in as early as October. And when you start feeling that 3 energy, lean into it fast because you're almost done with it. Nothing left to doubt. Katrina says, I'm a 5 and he's a 7. That might be where the power struggle comes in. Yeah, Katrina, because a 7 is deep inward and doesn't really need anybody else. They're pretty isolated. I mean, and they need other people, but not for the deepest inner work that they do. And if you're a 5, you are just by nature fun and energetic in a way that can be confronting to that. But of course, that's part of what attracted you to one another, because he's asking you to balance your spirituality and you're asking him to have a little more fun. Michaela says, I'm an 8, hubby's 6, same as Aaron. Feels like that. How do I prepare to make my 3 year as prosperous as possible? Meredith, I love this question. Okay, ask yourself, in my 2-year, did I nurture the seeds that I planted in my 1 year? If I did, I don't have to do a lot more for my 3-year to actually be prosperous, because I did some good nurturing of those dreams that I planted in my 1 year. And if you're looking at your 2-year going, I actually had an awful lot of doubt, you still got a little bit of time to really do the nurturing, feeling safe work of the 2-year so that you've got the nice runway for your 3-year to be as prosperous as possible. That is reminding me about a meeting I have at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Angelica, I'm in a 6 and he's in a 7. So again, that same note that I had for, I think it was Michaela, with the pacing being one next to the other and how one of you is blazing the trail for the other. So you can always reference, he's in a 7, so he can look back and know, oh, she's feeling like I was feeling last year. And you can look forward to him and say, that's how I'm going to be feeling next year. Obviously your birth numbers, your sign, rising, moon, all of it plays into it as well. So this is just for the numerology of it. You can look at each other for that pacing. But if you're currently in a 6-year, you are feeling very domestic. He's in a 7-year. He's feeling deep internal. And so I think we actually talked about that on it may have been somebody else had that we were covering as well. Pujadas. I got super into faith in year 2 and got really into yoga and self-care. Yeah, me too. So excited for the replay because I missed the beginning. Caitlin, good. Enjoy it, sweetheart. Put any questions that you have in the replay, just put hashtag replay and I'll come back around and answer the comments at Facebook. If you're watching the replay at YouTube or Periscope/Twitter, come over to the Facebook version so that I can answer your questions there. He's a 5. He's in a 5 and I'm in an 8. Okay, Patricia. He's in a 5, so he's feeling a little reckless right now. You're in an 8, you're feeling your power. That can go really well unless his recklessness feels like a challenge to your authority. If his recklessness this year feels like a challenge to your authority, that can be stressful. But if instead his recklessness is playful and rebellious and fun and celebratory, and you are really feeling your 8, that actually is a pretty powerful combination. It depends on what you're born. It also depends on your astrology, not just the numerology. Started acting in my 1 year, Meredith says. Took this 2 year to get as involved and informed as possible with acting in the industry, and I'm moving to LA on Sunday. Meredith, are you joining us for the 100 days? Meredith, are you joining us for the 100 days? We have like the last 100 days of the year, our last round for the year. We're going to close enrollment to getting gear for the next tier September 22nd. You might want to do this. Moving to LA on Sunday, girl. Holy balls, that's amazing. You are so set for an awesome 3 year. That's fabulous. How can we make an upcoming rough year better? Angelica, one of the things, Meredith, you sign up by going here? Yeah, I have it. My team will also give you a link in Facebook. Good, Patricia. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Joni. That means the world to me. I love you. Angelica, this is how to join us for the 100 days. And join now because we're coming up on 100 days left in the year, and then we're closing. More on that later. You'll be joining me next week. Good to see you too, Kim. Love you, sweetheart. But come, if you're thinking about it, do it, because we're closing on September 22nd, and then you won't be able to get in again this year. So if it's on your list, do it now. JFDI. Especially if you're in a place where you're like, I need more of this. But also remember, I'm doing the monthly membership ongoing, where we can do deep dives on all the woo. If that is something you're interested in, the link is also in my Facebook comments. Angelica is asking, and then we'll close off on this one so I can make it to my 1 o'clock meeting. It's a virtual meeting. Don't worry, I don't have to leave the house. I'm right here. How can we make an upcoming rough year better? Once you know from looking at your patterns, like if you map out, like I physically wrote out, okay, in 1970, I was born in 8. In 1971, I was in a 9 year, blah, 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 blah. And I went all the way through all the years so that I always know at a glance, this year is going to be a that year. And so like things like planning my tours, I do it based on what I know I am going to have in my life energetically. Like I use this as a part of my planning for rolling out new things in my business. Getting gear for the next tier is something that we launched in a 1 year, specifically because I was building it at the end of my 9 year, knowing exactly what I did not want to bring forward into my business and trying to clear out the kind of client that I no longer want to work with, and attracting only the kind of client that really lights me up and turns me on and gets me excited about where I'm headed in my business. Like all of that strategizing comes from knowing how those years are in my life. So the first thing that you do if you know you're facing a hard year is go look at how you've dealt with that hard year previously. And if that hard year every time is hard in a certain kind of way, you can start preparing yourself for how to handle those types of experiences and encounters in a more grace-filled way, in a way that feels more patient and supportive for what you know you're going to be facing. So, for instance, I used to hate a 7 year. I'll be honest. I used to hate a 7 year because I'm an extrovert. I got a lot of air in my chart. I do not like being alone in my spiritual cave. I don't like all that introspection. I don't learn things until I talk about them. Hello, all the Libra. So I want to chat about everything. I'm an interactive learner. Like every way you could measure me, a 7 year, not fun. Until I learned that a 7 year was a wonderful time for expansion and learning who my spirit wants me to be and connecting more with my spirit and less with my ego. And so once I framed it that way as an opportunity to do a deep dive, to do recon, to be educated. And if I could frame something as education, I am totally Charles C's daughter. I would stay in school forever if it weren't for student loans just being ridiculous. I seriously, when I have ponies for everyone money, I'm just going to enroll in all the school all the time because I love learning, love learning, love learning, love learning, love learning, love learning, love learning. And I want to do it all the time. But the way I learn best is to get to talk about it. So in a 7 year, you're not feeling really confident about talking things out because you're learning so much deep introspective stuff. So what I did was I set up for myself, how can I schedule things in my 7-year that allow me to come out in ways that feel safe and talk with people around whom I feel safe so that I can test out some of this spiritual non-ego level work that I'm doing in a 7-year so that it doesn't quite feel so hard and isolated and lonely. And then just knowing sometimes it's going to feel hard and isolated and lonely. That's it. That's how I handle a hard year. And now 7's not a hard year. I actually look forward to a 7-year because it's like I get to go to the school of me. I gamify this bitch. If I can turn it into school, I'm here for it. Yep. Oh, good. I see people already popping in questions for the replay. Awesome. All right, let's close this up so that y'all can start watching the replay. Again, if you're watching on YouTube or Periscope/Twitter, come over to the Facebook version where comments are remaining open and just put #replay, and I'll continue to come around and answer any questions that you have there. I'm so glad that y'all have enjoyed this deep dive on numerology. You know I could geek out on this all day, and I do in our membership. So again, if you want to join me in the new monthly membership for Aligned Advantage, we do a once monthly Zoom. This one is going to be on Saturday, September 21st at 12:30 Pacific. And the recording is there for you if you're not able to make it live, or even if you do make it live and you want to watch it again. And it's done on Zoom like this. Well, this isn't Zoom, but it's done on Zoom. And what we do during the Zoom is you can come on camera with me, and it's not audio. I mean, you could be audio only if you are like in your jammies and you don't want to be seen, but you can come on camera and we can like hot seat this, and we can actually talk through and yes and the questions that you have. And when you say, but what about, that's where we get those questions asked and answered. And so for only the membership fee, I think it's like $50 a month, because whenever I roll something out brand new, I price it super dumb low. And then once we see that it's a thing, then, you know me, I then go, great, it's a thing. Now I'm going to improve my prices because this is a lot of work. But what you get as a part of the membership is the calendar with all my little codes on it and MP3s of understanding and breaking down what all the codes mean. And then this monthly interactive Zoom with the hot seat where we're able to talk through what does this mean to me? I see that this day is an 8, but I am a 3. Tell me what that means to me. And then we also take a look at those moon phases and void moons and the elements in your chart and where they play out. And there's a very active comments area in the monthly page where we can continue to have the conversation outside of that interactive Zoom. So I'd love it if you would like to join us. This is a brand new offering. The October Zoom. So we cover the October calendar on the September 21st Zoom. And then on October 22nd at 1 p.m. Pacific, we will unpack the November calendar. And we'll just continue to do this. And it'll always be in that third week of the month that we open the calendar for the next month and start strategizing how to make it work for us. So thank you for my amazing team for popping the links in here and being here in support. All of you, I really appreciate you showing up for this woo-woo direction because it's fun for me, but it's always just felt like a hobby, and I am enjoying getting to spend this kind of time with Charles C., my mom, and I'm glad that you are too. So thank you so much. Next week, we will be back at noon Pacific in all the live stream places, and we will be talking about how enoughness makes you more castable. So those of you who are woo-woo averse, well, it's always going to be a little woo because it's me, but we're going to be talking about how enoughness makes you more castable, and everybody would like to be more castable, so let's do that. All right, you beautiful people. Till next time, stay ninja. Thanks for joining me.